Welcome back to the 1Cademy video tutorial series. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at the thought framework necessary to use 1Cademy effectively. We'll be looking at how to conduct research and how to contribute to your community. To begin your research using 1Cademy, you should start by having a topic of interest in mind. Let's say that we want to look closer at the epidemiology of COVID-19. We'll start by trying to find the most relevant node for the discipline or topic as a whole. In this case, it should be the SARS-CoV-2 node. I'm going to use the search button to try and find that node. In order to see the other members of the community and the work they are contributing, I'm going to change my default tag to this node. Remember that you can change your default tag by opening up the user profile, clicking on the default tag, then clicking on the node that you want to set as your new default tag. Now, I'll need to traverse down the nodes as children until I reach the topic I'm looking for. Each community or discipline will organize their nodes in slightly different ways. As such, this process will differ depending on what you're researching. In this case, I'll start by going to the epidemiology of COVID-19 child node. From here, I'll look into the focuses of epidemiological studies of COVID-19. Within this relation node, I want to look more specifically at the transmission of COVID-19. As I traverse down the map, I'll make sure to read the node content and thoroughly understand what it is saying. When I do that, I'll click on the Studied button to indicate my current progress through the map. In addition, I'll also bookmark any nodes that I want to keep track of future updates on. Another thing that I might want to look into is the references that a node cites for more details. For example, I might want to look at the references that are being summarized on the transmission of COVID-19 node. So open up the node's references. And in this case, there are two web pages being used as reference. Clicking on the Open the New URL in the New tab will open up the specific web page that is being referenced. If I open up the reference node that is being cited, it'll open up the corresponding reference node, in this case, the one to the CDC's website. Let's try and do the same for the reference to a paper. Inside the communicable period of COVID-19 node, there are two references. When we take a look at them, one of them is a website page just like before. The other one is a reference to a paper with a specific page number. clicking on the reference node will show us that reference and APA citation, as well as a DOI link, which will open up the paper in question. These are some of the ways that 1Cademy can be used to facilitate research. Besides assisting your own research, looking at existing nodes on the map for concept, relation, and reference nodes is a good way to learn how to implement them yourself. Now that I have studied these nodes, let's see the various ways in which we can contribute to our community. I'll be primarily looking for ways to improve or add to the community through submitting proposals and reviewing other proposals. Whenever you return to 1Cademy, the first things you should look at are the changes made to the map and any new pending proposals. You'll see a variety of numbered notification bubbles in the sidebar. You'll see a variety of numbered notification bubbles in the sidebar. These all indicate a mix of changes to the 1Cademy map that you have either not acknowledged as read or have not taken action on. The first item we'll look at is the notifications page. When we go to the sidebar and open up the notifications panel, we can see a set of checked and unchecked notifications. These notifications will relate to any of the proposals that you have made. Hit the check mark to mark the notification as read and to remove that notification from the notification bubble. The second item we'll look at is the bookmarks panel. The notification bubble here will indicate the number of bookmark nodes that have changed since you have last seen them. Keep in mind that this will include changes to the node's children's, not just direct changes to the node itself. To clear the notification bubble, mark the bookmark mode as studied. The third item we'll look at is a pending proposals list. The exact functionality of this panel was covered in the second video. The notification bubble will indicate the number of pending proposals you have not yet voted on. Voting on a proposal will decrease this number. Now that we've acknowledged all of the recent changes and pending proposals, it's time to see if there's any way that I can add any proposals to improve the map. One great way to do this is to add nodes in your community that are more specific to your interests. For example, these can be subfields and subdisciplines of your default tag. Let's say that I want to create a node for the asymptomatic transmission for COVID-19. To start, I'll use the search function to see if the node already exists. I can see that a related concept node already exists. However, it does not cover the concept that I'm trying to create, which should fall underneath the transmission of COVID-19 node. So I'll go ahead and try to create my new node. I'll need to see where on the map it would be most logical to place it. As I stated before, I think that putting it underneath the transmission of COVID-19 node would be the most appropriate. I'll open up the proposals menu on that node, and then create a new proposal for the new concept node. Now I'll go ahead and fill the node content. I have everything set up now, but I'm not quite confident that this node is as well written as it should be. Try not to create nodes haphazardly. If you feel that you cannot accurately summarize a concept, do not create that node. Collaborating with others to write the node is a good way to ensure that the summary is proper and accurate. Consider writing down your node content in a separate document and then copying and pasting it into 1Cademy. That way, it will be easier to save this information outside of the node proposal, and it will be easier to collaborate with your peers. Something else that is also missing from this node is a reference. Concept nodes should have at least one reference attached to them. The node content should summarize the information from that reference in your own words. In the new node proposal, there's an option here to cite any existing reference nodes. Click here, and then click on an existing reference node on the map to cite it as a reference. Be sure to add the page number or paragraph that you are citing from. In this case, I can add this reference that I found using the search function. In this case, because it is an article that has been published on the web, putting in the URL would be appropriate. If the reference that you are looking for does not currently exist on the map, then add it before making your new concept node. Let's take a look at how you can do this now. The places that nodes are placed and the way that they're organized differs for each community. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 research community and see an example. We'll first try to look at where we might add references. If you're ever in doubt, you may want to look at the reference nodes that are being cited by the nodes that you have open, or use the search button to find a reference node with your default tag. From there, we can look at the reference nodes as parents to see the context that it's being used in. For example, let's take a look at the reference for the aerosol versus droplet debate. Let's open up the reference node and crawl upwards through the parents. From here, we can see a pretty clear structure. Under the transmission of COVID-19 node is a relation node with a number of references by journal. Each of the child nodes is yet another relation node that contains a number of reference nodes describing the articles from that journal pertaining to that subject. Some references do not fall under this category. For example, if we look back at the references for the transmission of COVID-19 node for the CDC and WHO, in this case, the parent nodes are listed underneath the biomedical sciences node. And so, by referencing the existing references that are on 1Cademy, we can take a look at how we might add new reference nodes to the map. If, for example, we want to cite an article on the CDC website, we can reference the transmission of COVID-19 node, where we would reference the CDC website node, and the actual URL would be to the specific article that we are looking at. If we have a new journal we wanted to add, we would put it underneath a references by journal node. If we found a specific article in an already existing journal, we will put that underneath the specifics journals node. In this video, we've looked at the various ways to use 1Cademy for research and how to contribute to your community. In the next video, we'll take a look at how to use 1Cademy for live presentations.